2016, April 2nd.
Oh, I'm safe. Be very quiet. My little girl's looking for me. So let me tell you the story. Okay, so here's the deal. My little girl's out to get me because she asked me why my hair looks so magnificent now. And I had to explain to her that I threw a pair of scissors at her garden squirrel friend. So let me explain the story. A while back, I decided, you know what, I'm going to need to plant a garden because this quarantine is lasting way too long. So I went out with my only pair of scissors to plant some seeds and trim some plants. And while doing that, I saw a squirrel eating one of my cucumbers. So naturally, I had to throw my scissors at it. He escaped. I lost my scissors. Now, if my hair was a certain length that day, and a few days later, my hair length tripled, and then a few days later, my hair length grew 20 millimeters,
More.
and then a few days later, my hair length doubled and was 220 millimeters.
How many millimeters was my hair at the start? All right, what up, my quarantine people? Back at it again. Thank you, Mr. H, for being our guest DJ today, although you are half of InstructaBeats, so you're not really a guest in your own home, but I digress. Let's just get right into this question. This was a fantastic question for Mr. Hiroshige. A lot of problem solving here. So my statement's going to say, your hair, okay, was blank millimeters at the start, okay? So I'm looking for anything about millimeters or anything about his hair. And so I identified quite a bit of things when we did this, okay? I know I'm looking for when I started, and then the next time he measured, okay? So I'm going to say first time he measured, it was 3 times what he started with. The second time he measured, it was 20 millimeters more than the first time. That's a plus sign. And then the next time, so the third time he did it, it was doubled, which is 2 times the second time. And when he did that, that equaled 220 millimeters. Okay, so that's a lot of identifying. I see some additive comparison. I see some multiplicative comparison. I'm going to develop my plan using a tape diagram. Okay, now to do that, I'm going to start by having this information here, but then I'm going to have to erase it. So I know that I'm looking for whatever I started with, right? So here's my start. I don't know what that is, but this is where my question mark is. So then this first time, okay, we measure, it was 3 times what he started with, right? So that's a multiplicative comparison model, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that. Then the second time, it was 20 more than the first time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw the first time exactly the same, because what I'm saying is it was the same exact as the first time, but then I'm going to add another 20 to the end of it, okay? And then the third time when you came, you actually took the second time and you doubled it. So whatever the second time was, okay, there we go, and we doubled it. And when you did that, his hair was 220 millimeters. All right. Now, I see a lot of different things. We know that um, our main rule of tape diagrams when we have a question like this is we're trying to get equal groups. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equal groups, and then I see 3 parts that are not equal groups. So the first thing is we want to figure out what these two are, and then we can take our next step. So if I have 220 and it was doubled, so that means it's going to be divided back into 2 equal groups, right? That's going to be 110, which means this tape diagram right here on the second time he checked is equal to 110. All right, this is where we want to get equal groups. I have 3 equal groups plus a 20. So let's get rid of that 20 by subtracting it from our total, which is going to leave us with 90. Now I know that these three equal groups right here that I'm just outlining in purple for visual purposes, you wouldn't actually do this on yours, is going to be equal to 90. So if I have 90 and I divide it into three equal groups, that's going to give me 30 for each of these equal groups, which means if each of these equal groups is 30, all the other groups that are also equal to it are also 30. So at the start, his hair, Mr. H's hair, was 30 millimeters long. Okay, this is why I love tape diagrams, because it takes questions like this, which with a lot of steps can be very confusing. And if you can draw it out with a visual model, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, you might have solved it a different way, but to solve this question, you have to be able to develop a plan and then take it one step at a time. And that's what we try to teach here at Quarantine Math and InstructaBeats. So we would love for you to do tape diagrams if you haven't done those yet. We have some good videos on it. You can always Google and YouTube things, but this is a great strategy. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. H. I know after you're touching that nasty hair, you're going to want to wash your hands. You don't want to touch your face with it. I know that. Okay. It might start itching. All right. And if you're feeling sick, stay inside. And as always, please subscribe and like the video. We would love to have you do that. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you spending your time with Quarantine Math today. Stay safe. Do math. I'm out.